everyone. Thanks for joining me. I'm Megan Bonanti and this is Rise and Shine. So let's take a look at today's reading, and I wanted to answer the question, what can I do to make myself ready for my life partner? And so, a lot of people are going to focus on when this person is going to come into your life. I'm going to focus on what you need to do to prepare for them. And I've made some real specific questions here, like what do I need to change in my attitude? How do I heal that within me? What should I improve on to be ready for this relationship? And what do I need to know about my soul's purpose in preparing for this relationship? So I thought those would be some really good questions to tackle. And the way we're going to do this, I'll be going through these 4 questions with each charm. You just pick the charm that connects for you. All right, so our first charm, we have an umbrella. So some of you are going to pick the umbrella. This one has a mesh to it, so it's almost like it's more like a parasol. Or maybe there's rain dripping down. Maybe that's just a pattern. Ooh, I have a helicopter. So maybe that helicopter is going to speak to you, even though I'm throwing it all over the place. And our last one, let's see what our last charm will be, the fire department. So you can choose the fire department, the umbrella, or the helicopter. And I'm going to read for the umbrella people first. So hopefully that'll connect for you. And we'll see what comes up here. So, sorry, I'm putting my intentions in as I'm shuffling here. And again, just so you know, I've said my prayers ahead of time. Okay. So, first off, what attitude do I need to change? Okay, this is really funny. I'm sorry, guys. You got the hermit. So, you got to get out of your hermit mode. And this is like coming out and seeing people. But there's also that aspect, well, I got to do it on my own. I want to be on my own. And, you have to allow room for people to come in. You have to allow vulnerability. And, it's interesting, though, the hermit is the old wise one. And so there's honoring. It's like, yeah, but I've spent so much time being hurt. I don't want to be hurt again. Well, do you want a relationship or do you want to be protected? And, if any of you, if you haven't read Daring Greatly by Brené Brown, I highly recommend it. It's really, really a powerful book. And, we do have to be vulnerable to have relationships and to have these authentic connections. And the hermit is saying, okay, you need to be at the end of this path of singularity and you've got to let that go. And now that you've spent this time defining yourself, you're at a point now where we can begin to see a future together. And so you're on the horizon line, and I want you to think you've got that umbrella, which in and of itself is protection. It keeps you from getting wet. So maybe you need to allow just the umbrella to protect you and not have on not be so incredibly guarded or isolate yourself. But go get out there and, even if you get a little bit wet, you're not going to get totally hurt, okay? The umbrella is semi-protection, and maybe that's what you need to be looking at. Now, how do you heal this within yourself? I've got Knight of Wands in reverse. And, it's taking a step back. It's removing the armor. It's allowing yourself to be seen. And it's an interesting image because I have 2 people looking at each other in this image. And this deck, by the way, is called the Moonchild Tarot, if that's something you're interested in. It's a beautiful, very trendy, beautiful colors looking deck. Lots of layers, lots to look at, which I love. I like busy decks. And so there's self-reflection here. There's allowing yourself to not be fully developed, whereas the hermit is fully developed. The knight he's not yet a queen, he's not yet a king. And so it's like, okay, I can allow myself to be open with someone, to make mistakes, to show who I am, to play. Because really, part of being with someone is having fun. And so you got to be able to play in there. And Knight of Wands, it's interesting, that's the element of fire too. And we have the umbrella, which of course is connecting with protection from water. And so, don't let your flame burn out. Just allow yourself to shine. And you just need that umbrella over to not let the rain squelch you. But just allow yourself to burn brightly. It doesn't have to be huge or out of control. It's just going for it and not being afraid. So, okay, now what do you need to prove on to be ready for this relationship? Okay, we have Ace of Cups in reverse. You have to be willing to take a risk and to be emotionally open. And I think that's one of the things is you're like, well, I am emotionally open. Maybe, maybe not. And maybe this is a good thing to journal about. What does emotionally open look like to you? If you start writing out what being emotionally open looks like, especially like when you want that from another person, then you can compare it, because sometimes it's easier to point, well, I want him to be like this, or I want her to be like this. Well, then start looking at yourself. How am I like that? How am I not like that? So I want you to do a little homework in this area and see what emotionally open is for you, and explore it, and that way you can accomplish that. Now, what do you need to know about your soul's purpose in preparing for this relationship? And we have King of Pentacles. And so what you need to know is that being part of a family is part of your journey. And whether that's marriage for you, or maybe that's even being with, in your own family. Not everybody has to be married to have a fulfilling life. And so, I feel like part of you being in a relationship is leadership. It's about caring for another person and that give and take. It's not just about you looking for this other person and the qualities they embody. This is also that you want to embody these qualities. And so I just feel like as I look at this, it's super powerful and really in alignment for you. And again, with the umbrella, it's water. And that water is what nourishes the earth. And the King of Pentacles is very much that earth energy. And so you're looking for a really nourishing, soul-fulfilling relationship. And I think that you're going to want a partner that is very much the same way. And the more that you stay focused on that, the more in alignment for finding the right partner you are going to be. Okay, so those were our umbrella people. And let's take a look at our helicopter people. So, and I tried a new angle this week. I hope the lighting is okay. It's very bright and sunny today. And I had trees outside my window, but they have died. And so I get a really intense glare. So I just had to try a new angle. So I hope this works for y'all. And okay, helicopter people, I am shuffling you in, and we will see what your message is. Okay. Okay, so it's interesting. The first thing for my helicopter people is your attitude needs a little bit of adjusting. And I feel like sometimes you're either thinking you're broken, or you're wanting someone to rescue you. You're looking at the person as fixing who you are. And that needs, they're not your holy grail. You are your holy grail. And so, you're going to have to adjust this and be aware of that like, okay, I've got to be okay with myself for another person to be okay with me. And part of the way we do that is with the healing aspect of this, and that's honoring your flaws. And it's okay to be out of balance, that we're all out of balance at times. That's part of what we do. It's part of being a human. And finding that struggle in there. Now, I do want you to be aware of maybe putting some limits on things that behaviors that you do that limit you. Overindulgence of like alcohol or perhaps food or perhaps shopping, whatever it is. There might be some behaviors that you have to get control of because you're using them as justifications. Like, I was good today, so I deserve to have this dessert. Or I didn't drink all last week, so I deserve to get wasted this weekend. And I want you to think about that because that is limiting you and that is holding you back. And so right now, you've got some real up-leveling of your thinking for yourself. And that's going to help you to prepare for this person. And I love that you picked the helicopter because that's how you can rise up above the situation and get more perspective. There's nothing like being in the air to get perspective on everything below you. So really powerful that you picked that. Okay. Now, what do you need to improve about yourself to be in this relationship? And we have 10 of Swords. Oh, I didn't show you the cards. I'm so sorry. Your first card was 5 of Pentacles, and your second card was Temperance in reverse. That's very vibrant there. And so third card, 10 of Swords, really kind of powerful image here. And I love this one because it's not like it's not the 10 swords in her back. Like, she's not being punished. It almost looks like she's wearing them in a backpack. They're all organized and they're all behind her and she's dressed really fabulous. And so, okay. So you need to get closure on some of your negative thinking here. And maybe it's not even negative. Maybe it's just not so positive. But you need to outgrow this and put it behind you and know that those were lessons that you've learned along the way. They're not good, they're not bad, but they're part of what has shaped you. And I look at them as being part of the layers in the mountains. And, you know, we see in the striations in the soil of a mountain, like when you're in Arizona, you see the lines. That's thousands of years of compounding pressure. And that shapes that and creates those beautiful lines and color points. And I'm looking at that, and that's part of who you are as well. So acknowledging that they're part of your past and they were belief systems that served you for a while, but you no longer need those. And now you're thinking in new ways and in new forms. And so homework for you, I want you to go in and look at the reasons why you want a relationship. Write this down. And, you know, just don't put limitations on what you're going to write. Just let it flow out of you, like all the reasons you want a relationship. And then when you're done, I want you to look back through that and underline the things that actually work. There's going to be some of that stuff that doesn't work, and you're like, oh my God, I can't even believe I was thinking that. And that's okay. But that's going to help you clarify the belief systems that you need to keep in check and in place for you. All right. Now, what do you need to know about your soul's purpose in preparing for the relationship? First off, you have to know that you're not the most self-absorbed person out there. You're not going to just pick another self-absorbed person out there. I think that there's a little fear that you're going to always draw in these narcissistic people. And, you know, so the first thing to do is don't be narcissistic yourself. Now, I think the word gets overused, but, you know, it's being self-absorbed. And part of being young is being self-absorbed. You think about a child, all they can do is feel, and everything is about them. And the older we get, the more we move away from that. And so literally, like, the latter part of your life, like in your 40s and beyond, is all about how you can be there for other people. And so, but you basically spend your childhood, your teenage years, your 20s moving away from this level of selfishness. In your 30s, you're having children, and so you are transitioning into it's about them. And then in your 40s, transitioning to beyond. So, just acknowledge, okay, yes, I'm selfish in this way. And maybe that's something you need to get clear on right now and date it. Like, on today's date, these are the ways in which I'm selfish. And these are what scare me about being with someone who's selfish. And so you have two separate lists there. Check on that in a year. Check on that in 5 years. See what you're thinking about it from the perspective down the road, because I guarantee those things for you are totally going to change, and it's going to be miraculous and wonderful. But getting clear on you elevating yourself and not feeling bad about you is really what's going to make the difference for you finding the right person. And right now you're in process. And so just know that the more you work on that process, the better off you're going to be. And you're really looking at the big picture for yourself right now. And that's why that helicopter, again, is in play for you. So significant. Okay, so let's look at our fire department people and see what we got for those. All right. Oh, and your last card, I'm sorry, helicopter people, King of Wands. So beautiful card. And he's kind of hot. We like that one. There's not a lot of hot guys in tarot. I always appreciate a deck with hot guys. So, okay, now let's take a look at our fire department people. And, oh, I can tell my voice is getting dry. Excuse me. I've been doing a lot of readings today, so that tends to happen. The more I talk, the drier my throat gets. Okay, fire department, let's set our intentions. All right, so let's see how you're going to be ready for your life partner. Ooh. Ooh. Oh. Okay, interesting. So we've got some interesting cards for you today. And so the first thing is, what attitude do I need to change to be ready for this partnership? And we got the Knight of Pentacles. And it's interesting. He's wearing armor here. And so, a Knight of Pentacles, steady, consistent, loyal, not over jumping the gun. We like this guy. So I see a lot of positivity in that, but he's wearing body armor. So you're going to have to allow yourself to be a little bit more vulnerable for your partner. And also, I think sometimes you're not looking in the right places, and I feel like you have to start looking a little bit harder with a little more enthusiasm if you want this person right now. If you're not ready yet and you just want to take your time, then just mosey around, because Knight of Pentacles, he's not in a rush, and that's okay. So I love that that is there. Now, how do you heal these things within yourself? And it's interesting, we got the King of Pentacles in reverse. And so, maybe it's that you don't have to be in charge all the time, and you don't have to be so in control. And you have to acknowledge this isn't about financially making it. If you want a partnership, one, you don't get to be the boss, and you might need to step back a little bit from your career goals. Now, I do think we're very focused in our society to get our career solid before we fall in love. And that's not a bad thing, but it's okay if you want to fall in love. I still think you're career driven enough that that's always going to be part of who you are. And we think about these cards in context to the fire department. Well, They're our protectors. They're always called with 911. They're first to arrive a lot of times. They're there to save us, to rescue us. And it's interesting to acknowledge that idea of rescue, because I feel as I look at these cards, there is nothing about you that needs rescuing. And so I think that's part of it. Maybe you're thinking, oh, well, I don't really want a partner because I don't need to be rescued. Or what if they're always trying to rescue me, or I have to rescue them, for God's sakes. Maybe you're the fire department. But you know, in life, it is give and take. And I don't think we always have to rescue each other, but it's how we're present for each other. And you'll see reflections in your friendships and in your partnerships. Those are going to be similar. How are you with these people? You know, if you don't want to rescue someone, don't. Pick someone who you also think is strong, but know that there's always going to be some give and take in there. I really feel like you have a lot of strength and you're really set in a lot of ways. Okay, now what do you need to improve to be ready for this relationship? And really, you need to not be bossy pants. We've got the Emperor in reverse. You're going to have to let go of some control to be in a relationship. You know, and it's interesting, so much guy energy here too, man energy. And so I feel that you're very self-reliant, but you're going to have to be willing to trust. And that means you're also going to be having to be willing to let your partner lead sometime. And I think part of it is you're choosing to rescue because that is safe, to always be the one in control, to always be the one safe. And you're going to have to allow yourself to be vulnerable sometimes. Now, what do you need to know about your soul's purpose in preparing for this particular relationship? And it's going back to your roots. It's returning to something familiar. We've got 8 of Cups, beautiful card. It's reconnecting with your own destiny. And I think there's aspects of your own family you're going to be reflecting upon when you find this partner. And you might not see the similarities, but I think your family members will, and trust that. And I'm also acknowledging that, again, you're not in a rush. This is about taking time to find the right person, to build a relationship that stands a long time. It's not going to be a quick fix. It might not be an overnight situation, but I feel like it's reconnecting you with your past and really feeling like it's in alignment so you can move forward long term. And for some of you, there might even be someone from your past that you feel like you want to connect with. If that's the case, I wish you the best in that, because you know you ended for a reason. Now, sometimes if it was a high school relationship, you weren't ready yet. But I have seen people that were madly in love in high school and then marry different people, live different lives, and then come back together later in adulthood and be like, they are my it person. They always were. I just was too young. So there might be a little bit of that for some of you. But I do know from a soul's purpose, this is about taking your time and looking at your own family and self-reflecting and what you really want for the long haul. All right, people. So that is it for this week. I hope you found that helpful. Let me know if you have any questions you want me to answer. Please subscribe or leave any comments below. All of that information is always helpful. Take care, and I'll see you soon.